Hi, welcome back. We're continuing to talk about expressions and formulas. In this video, we are going to look at formulas. A formula is a mathematical sentence that expresses the relationship between certain quantities. So a formula is a mathematical sentence that expresses the relationship between certain quantities. A formula is going to be made up of variables. It's going to include variables. And if you know the value of every variable in the formula except one, you can find the remaining variable. So we are looking at formulas in this. I'll keep our definition of a formula over here. Well, let's look at some examples. In our first example, we are going to look at the formula for the volume of a cone. So the formula for the volume of a cone is V equals 1/3 pi r squared h. And let's talk about this value pi really quickly. In this formula here, my variables are volume V, radius r, and height h. Pi is not a variable. Pi is a constant that is about 3.14159. It is an irrational number. This decimal does not terminate or repeat, and so it continues forever. So pi is an irrational number. It is not a, so pi is not a variable. So we want to keep that in mind. So this formula can be used to approximate the volume of a tornado. Find the approximate volume of the tornado. So I'm being asked to find volume. So volume, or V, is going to be my unknown. R is radius, and radius is from the center of the cone out to the edge of the cone at the highest side. So that's this piece right here, which is 75 meters. So my radius is 75 meters. H is my height, and the height of my tornado is this height here, which I'm told is 225 meters. So now I have values for my variables. Just like in our last video, I can now substitute and simplify, or in this case, substitute and solve. So I don't know V, and that's actually what I want to find, is equal to 1/3 times pi times 75 squared times 225. So if I take 75 and square it, that's 75 times 75. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 2 is 37. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 7 is 49, so that's 52. 5, 2, 6, 5. So now my volume is 1/3 pi times 5,625 times 225. I can go through and multiply all of this out. Because this is an irrational number, it's a repeating or a non-repeating decimal. These are really large numbers. I am going to go to a calculator. And when I go to my calculator, I get that the volume is approximately 1,325,359 cubic meters, or meters cubed. So the approximate volume of the tornado is 1,325,359 cubic meters. That's based off of identifying the values for variables in my formula, substituting and solving. Let's look at another example. The formula for the volume of a rectangular prism is length times width times height is equal to volume. So this is volume, length, width, height. If I draw a rectangular prism here, this could be length, width, and height. So this is what my dimensions look like on a rectangular prism. So L represents the length, W the width, and H the height. Find the volume of a rectangular prism with a length of 4 feet, width of 2 feet, and a height of 3.5 feet. So my length is equal to 4 feet, so that's L. My width is equal to 2 feet, so that's W. And my height is equal to 3.5 feet, so that is H. To calculate my volume, I have 4 feet times 2 feet times 3.5 feet. So this is volume equals length times width times height. So 4 times 2 is 8 times 3.5 is equal to my volume. 8 times 3.5 is going to be 28. My units are feet times feet times feet, which is feet cubed or cubic feet. So the volume of this rectangular prism is 28 feet cubed. I want to point out that in both of these problems where I'm working with a formula, I include my units. When I define my variables, I have units, and when I write my final answer, I also have units. Units are really important when we're working with formulas because they're real-world situations and the variables have meaning and real-world significance. We need to make sure we include the units, and you need to include the units when working with formulas in your answer. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.